So season 2 of Santa Clarita Diet came out on Netflix last weekend. I finally finished it. Now I do think this very underrated show. It has its flaws, but I think it's very funny, very charming, and an interesting take on zombie analogies. So the new zombie metaphors, warm bodies, I guess, would be the most famous example, where there's good zombies and bad zombies, just like in humans. There's good zombies and bad humans. iZombie, the show, it's going even further, and it removes zombies from the typical zombie context of an apocalypse and the world falling apart, and it makes zombies just a part of normal everyday life. So zombies can exist and coexist with people, and it doesn't have to necessarily mean the world is going to fall apart. So the existence of zombies, we just need to figure out how we can all share this planet, we can all exist together. It's not like zombies are some kind of aberration, some kind of problem. No, zombies are just a part of the world like everyone else. And in this sense, zombies become a lot more like vampires. So vampires, it's not really an outbreak and an infection rapidly spreading and the number of vampires is rapidly increasing. No, vampires are kind of part of the world. They've always existed. They're scary and they're predators in some sense, but they're not causing the end of the world. They're not exponentially increasing. Zombies have always been thought of as coming out of nowhere, rapidly spreading throughout the world. So having zombies be more like vampires, it's interesting, and we get to see a lot of practical things that I really like and are very funny. So if you have zombies and they have to eat brains, well, what are the practical logistics of them living in normal life? What's the easiest way for them to stay fed? Is it grave robbing? Is it going to getting bodies from the morgue like we see in iZombie? So we get these interesting little practical discussions that I think are interesting to think about. And Santa Clarita Diet also flips a classic zombie trope on its head. So if you think of Dawn of the Dead, what do zombies symbolize? Consumerism, just mindless consumption and malls. Here, the mindless consumption is kind of their pre-zombie suburban existence. And it's a very repressed existence where they have to deal with a lot of crap that they don't want to deal with, but because of civilization, they just deal with it. So you smile and nod even though your boss is a jerk and doesn't know what he's talking about. Once Drew Barrymore's character, she becomes a zombie, suddenly she's able to get in touch with this primal side, and her inhibitions are lowered, and she's able to tap in to this raw aggression and kind of start to live a more uninhibited life and really break free a little bit. So it's an interesting take. It's a bit like zombie as midlife crisis. So rather than zombies being a metaphor for dull, mindless, autopilot existence, wanting brains as the subconscious desire for kind of human intelligence and agency that you've lost, now being a zombie, it's a metaphor for breaking free and living out all these darkest fantasies. And we get to the morality of the show, where it seems to say, well, look, eating your boss's brain because he's a jerk and talks over you and doesn't respect you, well, I guess that's wrong, but deep down, isn't that fun to watch? Isn't that what we would all want to do if we were given, some would say, the convenient excuse of becoming a zombie? If we had someone who was a zombie and now they have the excuse where, oh, we have to kill all the serial killers and the jerks and the other evil people of the world because we need their brains to eat, so we have to clean up the world, and cleaning up the world of all these nefarious characters in this vigilante way, just, I guess, a nice side effect. We would say, well, that's wrong, but deep down, isn't that what we all want to do? And I think where the show's at its strongest and sometimes its funniest is there's this typical problem with parenting where oftentimes the things that we want to teach our kids about the society we live in and sharing and cooperation, they oftentimes run in conflict to how people actually behave, oftentimes the parents' own actions, and it's this kind of do as I say, not as I do, and we hope our kids would build a better world than the one we have, or the world as we describe it, and how we say the world is. We hope the kids would actually do that and live it, but the way we live is selfish and short-sighted. So the fact that they're telling their daughter, you have to do this, this, and this, you have to be moral, this, and this, while Drew Barrymore's character is a zombie and is killing people, it's just kind of the literal extreme of that, where the daughter can say, how are you as a zombie who eats people gonna teach me anything? And I think the show gets to some interesting moral questions. So there's a couple interpretations. One is that once you become a zombie and you realize, well, I have to kill people and eat brains, you could say, well, thank God that bad people exist, because now there's people that we can, these aggressive drives we feel, we can inflict them on these people and they deserve it. So in some sense, thank God that evil exists. Now I finally realize why bad people exist. It's for situations just like this. Or you can interpret it as, if someone has these aggressive drives and these needs, they'll start inventing evil people, and they'll start seeing evil people and bad people when they don't really exist, because now there's a demand and a need for it. So you, in your mind, you're going to start seeing bad people everywhere. So it depends on where you interpret it. Now, as far as the actual season 2, talking about whether I liked it or not, the basic formula that the show has, the characters, the ensemble they've got, the interaction and the chemistry between them, the writing, I think is excellent. I think the only time the show struggles sometimes is its plotting over the course of a season, kind of building to a satisfying conclusion. So I thought we got some great mythology, especially midway through the season, talking about Serbian bile and these paranormal societies, and the spiders and the clams, all these different mythology elements, and I feel like a somewhat unsatisfying conclusion to it a couple episodes before the end, and in the last couple episodes it just felt like we hadn't really built to this satisfying conclusion, where I felt like we were building some momentum and steam, and I wanted to know what was going to happen, but I feel like it kind of fell apart towards the end as far as having a nice serialized arc. So I think if they figured out a really effective story that they wanted to tell for a particular season, I think we could have a fantastic show, because like I say, the chemistry between the characters and the very sharp writing, it's really excellent. And I think my favorite part of the show, it's still Joel and Sheila as partners in crime, trying to lie together, trying to manipulate someone, because there's a show, Sneaky Pete. Now Pete is a con man, so when he finds partners in crime and they're running a con together, it's very smooth. They're always on the same page. They're always working together. With Joel and Sheila, they're not professional con men, so they're just a traditional married husband and wife. So they're not polished at it, and they also don't see eye to eye all the time on what's best. So it's this great thing of one of them saying something and the other trying to reel them back in, one trying to go one direction with the con, the other trying to go the other, and it's this great kind of back and forth dynamic where they're on the same side, they're trying to accomplish the same goal, but oftentimes they're working at cross purposes. And also I'll say, this show's right up there with easiest shows to binge and just blitz through. The episodes are so breezy, they go by so quick. Like I say, we had some nice serialized elements, some kind of mysteries, learning about the mythology that really helped that, I'd say, mid-season hump that a lot of shows have just breezed by. So if you look at it and say, oh God, 2 seasons, I got so much other stuff to watch, it's 2 seasons, but they're short seasons, quick episodes. You can get by it 1 day, maybe 2 days tops. So if you haven't checked it out, this is one I definitely recommend. And it's one of those shows where you'll know right away if you like the humor, if you like the premise, if you like the characters. So watch 1 or 2 episodes, give it a try.